Get ready for 120 speed. 5 seconds. Start. The plaintiffs have affixed court fees of rupees 1950 on the plaint on the ground that the plaintiffs intend to challenge the Court Fees Act. According to the plaintiffs, if the justice dispensation system requires around 15 to 20 years for settlement of a suit, the court has lost the moral as well as legal right to require the court fees to be paid upfront at the beginning of the suit. The plaintiffs further intend to challenge the Court Fees Act in terms of the original intent of the Act being to recoup the costs for administration of justice, whereas the present system is such that the inflow of the court fees far exceeds the amount spent by the state on providing the infrastructure to dispense justice. Relevant portion of the application is reproduced hereunder. That the suit has been filed by affixing court fees of rupees 1950 for the present, and the plaintiffs and applicants seeks time to deposit the balance, if any. That it is also their intent to challenge the Court Fees Act on the grounds inter alia that if the justice dispensation system requires around 15 to 20 years for settlement of a suit, it has lost the moral as well as legal right to require the court fees to be paid upfront at the beginning of the suit. That it is also their intent to challenge the Court Fees Act in terms of the original intent of the Act being to recoup the costs for administration of justice, whereas the present system is such that the inflow of fees far exceeds the amount spent by the state on providing the infrastructure to dispense justice. That under these circumstances, if the court fee be found short, this honorable court may be pleased to record the undertaking of the plaintiffs to pay whatever be the appropriate court fee within 4 weeks of this honorable court, granting time to do so, or within 4 weeks of losing their challenge to the Court Fees Act, if he loses whichever be later. In view of the aforesaid facts and circumstances, it is prayed that this honorable court may be pleased to a. allow this application and grant appropriate time to the plaintiff to pay the full court fees as may be applicable to the matter if the court fees paid at all be short. B. Allow that the time to be fixed by this honorable court be fixed keeping in mind the challenge to be raised to the Court Fees Act. Plaintiff's submissions. The plaintiffs seek time to pay the court fees under Section 149 read with Section 148 of CPC because of COVID-19 constraints and plaintiff number 1's visit to South Africa on or around 26 May 1921. Since the quantum of court fees quantified by the plaintiffs in para 147 of the plaint at rupees 12,210 may perhaps also be called into question, namely as to how in any case the court fees cannot be less than rupees 2 lakhs, especially since at para 164 the suit has been valued by the plaintiffs themselves at rupees 2 crores. The plaintiffs are ready to immediately file elaborate written submissions on this aspect if required by this court to do so. Without this becoming an issue at this stage and subject to their rights being permitted by this court to stand preserved, the plaintiffs undertake to pay whatever court fees is required by the registry to be paid under directions of this court after reading the written submissions to be filed herein in the time to be stipulated by this court. This court, while allowing the application and granting deferment for whatever period of time this court deems fit, may make it clear that the quantum of court fees is at to be decided by this court, thereby allowing fair opportunity to the plaintiffs to present their arguments on this point in due course. Nonetheless, if this court wishes, the plaintiffs agree to pay whatever court fees as may be directed by this court, subject to preservation of all their rights and contentions by this court. Findings: the plaintiffs have valued the suit for purpose of jurisdiction at Rs 2 crore. The law is well settled that the valuation of the suit for the purpose of jurisdiction and court fees has to be the same. In that view of the matter, the plaintiffs are liable to pay court fees of Rs 1,97,544 on the plaint. As such, there is deficiency of the court fees of Rs 1,95,594 by the plaintiffs. The application is misconceived, frivolous, and unsustainable. The law with respect to valuation and computation of court fees is well settled. However, the plaintiffs have taken a stand not to pay the court fees in utter disregard of the well settled law. All the objections raised by the plaintiffs to the payment of court fees are hereby rejected. That's all.